Hello and a very warm welcome. I am Gurteen Garland and you're watching Firstpost. In the next few minutes, we bring you the top 50 updates from around the world, only here on Fast and Factual. Let's get started. Beginning with West Asia, the International Criminal Court has issued an arrest warrant against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The court stated crimes against humanity and war crimes in West Asia as the reason. Arrest warrants were also issued for former Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and Hamas's military chief Mohammad Deif. After the arrest warrant has been issued, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called it an anti-Semitic act, while US President Joe Biden called the arrest warrants against Israeli leaders outrageous. EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell said court's decision must be respected. Hamas welcomed the move and called it an important step towards justice. Israeli strikes killed at least 52 people in Lebanon yesterday. The attacks targeted Hezbollah's stronghold, southern Beirut. Meanwhile, the Israeli strikes in the Baalbek district of Bekaa Valley killed at least 40 people. The Lebanese Health Ministry also reported 7 deaths and 24 injuries in the Nabatiyeh district, while other strikes in the country resulted in 5 more deaths. Russian President Vladimir Putin said that the country launched hypersonic ballistic missile on a Ukrainian military facility. He further warned the West, stating that the countries allowing attacks inside Russia could be targeted next. Remarks followed Ukrainian strikes inside Russia using the US and UK missiles. Meanwhile, the Pentagon has said that it was pre-notified about the Russian attack on Ukraine with its alleged new missiles. The Washington also condemned Russian President Putin's reckless rhetoric and reiterated its support for Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has condemned the Russian hypersonic missile attack and called for strong response from world leaders. He said that it was a major step up in the scale and brutality of the ongoing war. Zelensky added that the attack was a proof that Russia didn't want peace. President-elect Donald Trump has named Pam Bondi to be the next U.S. Attorney General. She previously served as Florida State Attorney General. Bondi's nomination came hours after Matt Gaetz withdrew his name. He took his name back in accusations of sexual misconduct and illicit drug use. Donald Trump's pick for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has denied sexual assault allegations. He said that the matter was fully investigated and he came clean. This was in response to a complaint filed by a woman in 2017. The charges against Hegseth could not be filed then due to lack of evidence. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed a gathering of Indian diaspora in Guyana's Georgetown. He was accompanied by country's President Irfan Ali. PM Modi referred to Indian diaspora as the ambassadors of Indian culture and values. He also lauded Indians living in Guyana for their contribution to make the country one of the fastest growing economy. The Indian consulate has cancelled additional consular camps in Canada. India cites Canadian authorities' inability to provide minimum security against heightened threats as the reason. The cancellation follows attacks by Khalistanis on similar camps in Brampton and Surrey earlier this month. A Chinese warship was docked at a pier on Hong Kong Island yesterday. The amphibious assault ship called Hyena is one of China's most advanced naval vessels. It is part of the fleet operating in the disputed South China Sea. Experts say its presence in Hong Kong serves as a reminder of China's authority over the city. China has said that it is ready to hold talks with US over bilateral trade. Beijing added both the countries can maintain stable and healthy trend in economic and trade relations. The remarks were made by China's Vice Commerce Minister Wang Shouwen. He further added that China will resist the impact of new tariffs by US President-elect Donald Trump. At least 38 people were killed in a gun attack on passenger vans in Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. The attack also injured 29 others. The attackers first targeted police personnel and then the passenger convoy. Pakistan's President Asif Ali Zardari described the assault as a cowardly and inhumane act. Bolivian lawmakers from the ruling party clashed in the parliament. Supporters of the former President Evo Morales tried to stop new Congress President Omar Yujra from beginning these duties. The lawmakers were protesting when the new chair elected on November 5. The unrest erupted amid protests over a severe shortage of dollars and fuel. The federal police in Brazil formally charged former President Jair Bolsonaro along with 36 others. They have been accused of involvement in a coup attempt in January 2023. Police also claim that Bolsonaro had complete knowledge of the 2022 plot to kill current President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Bolsonaro had lost election to da Silva in 2022. In climate news, the U.S. Chemical Safety Board says that over 12 tons of deadly gas was released at a Texas refinery in October. This had caused the death of 2 workers and injured 13 others. Local government had ordered the residents to remain indoors during the release. A bomb cyclone has devastated the U.S. state of California. The cyclone brought heavy rainfall and gale-force winds with itself, which flooded roads and vineyards. Residents say it's unusual for severe storms to hit the region at this time of the year. Experts have warned of more flooding and rock slides. The United States of America has proposed to move giraffes under the Endangered Species Act. Their numbers have reduced because of climate crisis, habitat loss, and poaching. Giraffes are used to make rugs, boots, furniture, and pillowcases in the U.S. According to reports, now only 69,000 of them are left in the world. South Korean pop music fans are worried of the massive plastic usage in the industry. The industry produces mountains of CDs that people buy as collectibles. Fans say that the CDs and plastic merchandise are harmful. According to South Korean lawmaker, plastic use in the K-pop industry was 14 times higher in 2022 than in 2017. For the first time ever, the global climate funds have seen investors pull out money. This is according to a report by Chicago-based research firm Morningstar. In the first 9 months of the year, a total of $24 billion have been withdrawn. These funds are created to invest in environmental sustainability and energy transition efforts. On to business and tech news now. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba has announced a $252 billion economic package for the country. His cabinet is set to approve the package today. It includes subsidies for electricity, gas and gasoline prices to tackle inflation. The package also provides cash handouts to low-income households. The Trump-fueled rally in Bitcoin continues. It has now touched a new record of the $99,000 mark. Bitcoin is fast approaching the $100,000 market value. The world's largest cryptocurrency has surged over 60% since Donald Trump's victory in the U.S. elections. Investors are riding a wave of optimism over a crypto-friendly administration in the White House. Gary Gensler will step down as the chair of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission on January 20th, the day President-elect Donald Trump takes office. Gensler was appointed as the head of financial market regulatory by Joe Biden. He made headlines as the SEC filed cases against crypto firms. Donald Trump had promised to fire Gary Gensler soon as he takes office. Consulting giant McKinsey is reportedly close to reaching a settlement deal with the U.S. Justice Department. The deal relates to the department's probe into how McKinsey helped opioid makers boost sales. McKinsey had worked with OxyContin maker Purdue Pharma and other drug makers. The Justice Department has been probing how this may have contributed to the deadly opioid crisis. Canadian retailer Alimentation Couche-Tard says it is not planning a hostile takeover of Japan's 7 & I Holdings. The statement was made by Couche-Tard's chairman, Alain Bouchard. The Canadian retailer has made several offers to buy out the 7-Eleven store chain operator. However, all of these bids have been rejected by 7 & I Holdings. U.S. aviation regulators are reportedly examining Boeing 737 MAX airplane for the new issues. This relates to 2 incidents last year where birds struck the airplane's engine. Afterward, the plane cabin was filled with smoke. The regulator is reportedly developing recommendations on how to address these issues. Meanwhile, Boeing has secured a new contract from the U.S. Air Force. Under the $2.38 billion deal, Boeing will build 15 KC-46A Pegasus aerial refueling tankers. Since 2019, the company has already manufactured and delivered 89 such tankers to the U.S. Air Force. Snap, the American parent company of social media platform Snapchat, has filed a motion in a New Mexico court. It seeks to dismiss a lawsuit filed by the state's attorney general. The lawsuit accuses Snapchat of enabling sexual exploitation of children. Billionaire Elon Musk has criticized Australia for its bill that bans social media access for children. The owner of social media platform X says the bill appears to control Australians' access to the internet. The law aims to ban children under 16 from using social media. It proposes fines of up to $32 million for platforms that violate this law. ChatGPT maker OpenAI is reportedly planning to develop a new web browser to compete with Google. The company has reportedly discussed the plans with websites like Condé Nast and Redfin and Eventbrite. OpenAI may integrate its artificial intelligence chatbot, ChatGPT, into the browser. Moving to sports, we start with cricket. India are playing Australia in the first test match of Border Gavaskar Trophy. Batting first, the visitors were all out for 150 runs in their inaugural innings. Australia's Josh Hazlewood took 4 wickets. India has benched the spinners Ravichandran Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja for the first test. According to reports, Rohit Sharma is set to join Team India in Australia on November 24. Reports say that the top Indian batter could be ready to play in the second test of the Border Gavaskar series on December 6. Sharma remains unavailable for the first test as he stayed back in India for the birth of his second child. The schedule for the 2025 edition of the Indian Premier League, or the IPL, is out. The IPL will begin on March 14 next year. The 2025 edition of the Cricket League will feature 74 matches. The final will be played on May 25. In the year 2026 and 2027, the IPL will be played between the months of March and May. In football, Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola confirmed the reports that he will remain the club's manager until 2027. This comes after Guardiola signed a 2-year contract extension with the city. Confirming the development, Guardiola said, and I quote, "Manchester City means so much to me. I am happy to be staying for 2 more seasons," unquote. Meanwhile, Barcelona's 2 La Liga matches earlier set to be played at their home stadium will be played elsewhere now. These matches were to be played on January 26 and February 2 next year. This comes as the iconic Camp Nou stadium remains inaccessible until at least February 2025. The stadium is currently undergoing expansion. Australia defeated the United States in the Davis Cup quarter-final. This comes after Australian men's double pair Matthew Ebden and Jordan Thompson beat a US pair in straight sets yesterday. Earlier in the men's singles, Australia's Thanasi Kokinakis defeated Ben Shelton 6-1, 4-6, 7-6. In badminton, India's Lakshya Sen defeated Denmark's Rasmus Gamke 21-16, 21-18 in the second round of the China Masters. The match lasted 46 minutes. Lakshya Sen will next face Denmark's Andres Antonsen in the quarterfinals. And in another good news for the Indian camp in China Masters, India's men doubles pair Chirag Shetty and Satvik Sairaj Ranika Reddy beat a Danish pair in straight sets. The Indians beat Denmark's Rasmus Kia and Fredrik Soga 21-19, 21-15. Chirag and Satvik will next play the quarterfinal. In boxing, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul have been handed a 24-day suspension by a regulatory board in Texas. This comes after their much-anticipated Netflix fight last week. According to rules, the heavyweight boxing opponents must rest for 3 days after each round of fight. But Tyson and Paul fought for 8 rounds without rest. British racing driver Lewis Hamilton said he will give absolutely everything for his last 3 races with Mercedes. Hamilton said, and I quote, "Nothing can take me down," end quote. This comes after Hamilton was seen struggling at the Brazilian Grand Prix earlier this month. The 7-time world champion finished 10th in the event. Now moving to the world of showbiz, rapper Sean Diddy Combs is reportedly selling his house in Los Angeles at half price. The mansion was listed at a price of over $60 million. However, the alleged buyer is offering only half the price. The rapper is currently in jail awaiting trial for the charges of racketeering and sexual assault. Apple Music has named Billie Eilish the 2024 Artist of the Year. The 9-time Grammy Award winner said that the Apple Music has supported her music and artistry. Apple's executives stated that they have been fans of Eilish's music since nearly a decade. Indian rapper Hanuman Kind will be performing at the Coachella Music Festival next year. The rapper would be the second Indian artist after singer Diljit Dosanjh to be part of the festival. Singers like Lady Gaga, Green Day, Travis Scott and Post Malone will headline the show. The Coachella Music Festival begins in April next year. Grammy-winning artist Diane Warren will compose an original song for the Maserati The Brothers. The film features Anthony Hopkins, Michelle Moran and Jessica Alba in the lead roles. Maserati is a sports car biopic. Jonathan Majors' former girlfriend Grace Jabari has dropped the assault and defamation lawsuit against the actor. Majors was convinced last year of 2 misdemeanor counts of assault. He was then sentenced to attend domestic violence counseling. American actor Jussie Smollett's hate crime hoax conviction has been tossed out. He was convicted for allegedly staging a hate crime attack against himself. In 2019, the actor told the police that 2 men attacked him and called him racist along with shouting homophobic slurs. Actors Ella Romph and Louis Garrel will be joining the cast of upcoming film Stitches. The film also stars Angelina Jolie in the lead role. The story is of an American filmmaker who is on a life and death journey in Paris. American actor Samuel L. Jackson is in talks to be part of J.J. Abrams' upcoming film. If all goes well, then he will star alongside Glenn Powell, Jenna Ortega and Emma Mackey. The details of the films are currently under the wraps. According to reports, actor and comedian Ellen DeGeneres has shifted to the United Kingdom with her wife. Reports suggest that the couple took the decision after Donald Trump won the 2024 U.S. presidential election. The couple reportedly purchased a house in southwest England. And finally, American film director Spike Lee has been named the president of the Red Sea International Film Festival jury. He will preside over the features competition jury. The festival is scheduled to take place in December in Saudi Arabia. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us. I am Gursheen Galan and we'll see you